Well, alright then. It's Monday, March the 18th, I think. Yes, Monday, March the 18th, and it's just lunchtime now. It's 12:08 in the daytime. I don't know if it's considered AM or PM, really. I think it's PM after 12, but noon. But anyway, this is my daily rant. I don't do them every day. I know I said I was going to, but I don't. Life kind of gets in the way. And there are some days I just can't think of any material, really. And I don't have the time, really, to get into it much some days, or the energy, so I don't. So I haven't really kept my word when I said I'd do it every day. But I guess I'll modify my statement to be more accurate and say that I would do it regularly. It's going to happen several times a week, at the very least. There may be weeks where it happens every day, but probably not. Not that I don't have lots of material to work with, because our government in Canada and the situation worldwide even gives me plenty of material to work with if I want to knock our leaders and our systems and our bureaucracies and so on. They all give me plenty of material to work with, that's for sure. But what I want to talk about today specifically is warfare. And I don't mean warfare as in, take your arms and go and fight the enemy or whatever. I'm not talking, although that is part of it. That's part of the control system that we're dealing with. But warfare can take a lot of forms, and a government can actually make war against its own people. See, my eyebrows are kind of got one eyebrow to them. There we go. A government can make war against its own people. It can, and that's sort of what's happening now. Is we have governments all over the world waging war on their own people, and they're using warfare tactics that are traditionally used against the enemy. Like during World War II, for example, both sides had propaganda that they used against their enemy. We had it, and the German side, the Axis powers, they had it too. And a prime example of propaganda would be like Lord Haw-Haw, they called him. I think his name was William Joyce, and he was a British nobleman. His last name was Joyce, I know that. I think his first name was William, but don't quote me on that, I may be wrong. He was hanged after the war, anyway, for treason, basically. But Lord Haw-Haw was a German propagandist. He was a British citizen, and he went on the radio and just said nasty things in order to degrade and really, I guess you could say, really bring the British people down, make the British people feel like it was hopeless, and that they ought to just give up and give in and surrender to Germany. And like I say, for that he was eventually hanged as a war criminal, as someone who committed treason. But, you see, both sides did things like that. And that's propaganda. Now we have our government doing it. We have our governments telling us basically that we're vermin, that the earth is being destroyed by us, that our existence, just as our existence alone, is harming the earth to the point where the earth is essentially going to be destroyed. The things that we do so that we can continue existing, like burning fossil fuels, that we're destroying the planet, and, really, like we're vermin. We're like mice, running around in the walls of a house, chewing on the electrical wiring, going to burn the house down, contaminating the house with our urine and our feces, going to make the people inside sick. Well, what do you do with vermin? You get rid of it. You exterminate it. which again, if we go back to World War II, on the German side especially, there were certain groups of people that the German authorities blamed, that they said that these people are responsible for all our troubles. The Jews primarily, but also gypsies, homosexuals, the disabled, if you were physically or mentally disabled, you know, anyone like that, anyone that had anything like that going on, these are vermin, these must be destroyed. This was the German system's mindset. Now what's happening, though, is the entire population is being targeted. And we're being told that we are vermin and that there are way too many of us. We're destroying the planet and so on. So we're being guilted. We're being guilted about our existence. Unfortunately, we're living in Western civilization, especially, has largely turned away from God. And so human existence is not considered sacred like it once was. Like, when you believe in God, you believe your existence is ordained by God. You believe that your life is precious and special because God made it so. You see, if you don't have that, if you're strictly in evolution and so on, then it's survival of the fittest. So basically, if I can kill you, then I'm fitter than you are, and therefore you deserve to die, and I deserve to survive. If you can kill me, well, then you're fitter than I am. You deserve to survive, and I deserve to die. But see, for those of us who believe in God, whether I can kill you or you can kill me, it doesn't matter. God ordained that we both exist. We wouldn't be here otherwise. And see, that's the difference in the mentality. So as Western civilization has drifted further away from God, we've opened ourselves up to this mentality of, you're vermin, you need to go. Basically, survival of the fittest. Only those who will make the best slaves for the elites will be allowed to survive. Those are the fittest. We've decided those are the fittest, and they will be allowed to survive. Anyway, the bottom line is this. As time goes by, and we drift more and more away from God, we adopt this philosophy more and more, and we believe more and more lies because we lose our discernment. We start to rely more on so-called wise men to decide for us. But a lot of the time, these wise men, at least the ones who represent themselves as wise men and are accepted as wise men, they turn out to be con artists. They turn out to be, murderers. Many of them turn out to be murderers, really. They tend to be more akin to a psychotic killer, to a serial killer, than to, than to somebody you would want to trust. I mean, you wouldn't want to take advice or directions from somebody like Ted Bundy. Chances are he's leading you into a trap. I mean, he's no longer around because he was executed, but you know what I mean. When in his day, you'd take advice or direction from him to your own detriment, to your own peril, because chances are he'd be leading you into a trap so he could kill you. Well, that's what our governments are doing now. We got a prime minister who has murder on his heart. I mean, he's not for us. He's not for helping us. He's not for doing anything for us. He's all for doing to us. And see, these laws that he's passing now, all these censorship laws and whatnot, what that is It's really a criminal's dream come true, because criminal people tend not to like their actions to be talked about. And basically what it is we're going to do criminal things to you, and you're going to shut your mouth while we do it. That's what it is. That's what these laws are. And that's why we have to defy them. But, the little stabby, poke thing that they were trying to force us all to do, time to release lethal injection. That's what it is. It's a time to release lethal injection. And, yeah. And they bullied and cajoled and bribed people into taking it. They hit us hard with propaganda. I hadn't listened to the radio in quite a while. And when all this stuff started, I was working in my shop. I still had my house at the time, and I had turned my garage at the back of the property into a workshop. You couldn't drive a car into it. It wouldn't take the weight of a car, I don't think. But maybe a small car you could, I don't know. But it was a rickety old garage anyway. It was all leaning sideways and stuff, But I put a workshop in there where I did different kinds of work, woodworking, and worked with metal and different things like that, whatever it was that I was doing. Oh, anyway, well, I don't know what happened there, but my phone just rang. Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is this. We'll see here what it says. I'm getting all kinds of weird calls from weird numbers. Oh, there it goes again. Okay, I don't know who that is, so I'm not going to answer it. If it's important, they'll leave a message. Anyway, the bottom line is this. That's annoying, isn't it? Anyway, they'll leave a message if it's important. And then I'll call them back or whatever. But anyway, if I don't know the number, I don't answer it. But anyway, the bottom line is this. They actually used our minds against us in that situation. I didn't take it, and I had people furious with me. I had people telling me I should be executed. I had people telling me that I should be sent to a concentration camp. All sorts of people called me names, They accused me of wanting to kill everybody with by being around people and by breathing around them and stuff. And again, the whole message there was, you are vermin. That's what it was. You just being around other people, you could kill people just by being around them. You are vermin. That's what the message was. Anyway, the bottom line with all of that is this is all psychological warfare tactics. When I was working in my shop, I never did finish that story. I liked to have the radio on when I was working in my shop. And I turned the radio on, and they'd play a song, and then the song would be over, and the disc jockey would come on, and he'd spend 10 minutes going on about how, okay, everybody, wear your masks, do the right thing, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart, you don't want to kill people, 6 feet apart, people, do the right thing. And it just went on and on and on. If you don't wear your mask, if you don't do the right thing, then you're selfish. You'd sooner see people die than to be a little inconvenienced. You're selfish. Stay home. Stay the hell at home. And on like that, and this is what it was. It was a huge scam. And here's the thing about it, though. It worked on a lot of people. I remember I went into the Giant Tiger store, which is like a kind of a little department store. We have a chain of them across Ontario. And I went in there to shop. And, of course, they had the arrows on the floor and everything, You could only go one way down the aisles, and all these signs up, stay 6 feet apart, save a life and all that, do the right thing. And as I was in there, over the PA system in the store, there was this recording that just played in a continuous loop. And it was a woman's voice, and it was a very, very low playing thing, like you could barely hear it, but it was there in the background all the time. And it was this soothing woman's voice. And over again, it was just saying, remember, we're all in this together. Do the right thing. Stay 6 feet apart. Please observe the arrows on the aisles. We have one-way aisles for your protection. And all this, Please do the right thing. Wear your mask. Mask up, people. Do the right thing. Stay 6 feet apart and wear your mask. You have to protect each other. Remember, we're all in this together. And it was like, it reminded me of a movie I saw in the 1980s of a real dystopian future, where everywhere you went, if you were outside in public anywhere, this voice played over a PA system. And that's exactly what it sounded like. It was a very soothing female voice just playing low in the background. And that's what it was. It was telling you, okay, people, remember, today is, such and such or whatever, today you must do the right thing. Whatever it was the authorities wanted you to do that day, and stuff. Anyway, it's all psychological warfare. We're being bombarded with it. We're being told that we're not fit to live. We're being told that due to our existence, the planet is dying, which is crap. That is not happening. We're being told that we need to basically take poison into our bodies. Look, there's more and more evidence coming out all the time about these shots, yet they're still pushing the shots. They're not pushing them like they once did, but they are still pushing them. I mean, now, in Canada now, they're lowering the standard to join the armed forces. And they're doing that because they booted out all the people that wouldn't take these shots. Well, what's happened is the people who have taken them have been weakened and sickened. And the people who are still strong and healthy are the people they booted out. So now they're saying, well, you can have all kinds of health issues and stuff, and you can be weak and all the rest of it, and you can join the armed forces. Well, what kind of an army are we going to have? How is that going to be of any use come a war? I mean, look, even with myself, I'm a 55-year-old man. My health isn't great. I have no business in the army. I'd be cannon fodder. I would be. I'd be totally useless in a battle. I'd be cannon fodder. I mean, I'd just be something for some of the bullets to go into. That's all I'd be. I'd be a friggin' target. I mean, my eyes aren't great. I can't move like a young person can. I mean, even when I was a young person, I couldn't move like that because of what was done to me when I was a kid and I lost my health and all that. I tell those stories in other videos going back a ways now. You'd have to go back quite a way in the channel to find them now, but the bottom line is, even when I was young, I wasn't healthy enough to be in the army and to be of any effect in the army. I'm not the guy you want on the battlefield with you, because chances are, if you are healthy and strong, you're going to have to carry me. I will become a liability. And that's just a fact. So this isn't me putting down people and saying, well, if you're basically a cripple, then you're useless and you shouldn't be in the army. I don't think that's true. I just think that you're limited. And I'm basically a cripple myself, so I'm speaking to myself as much as anybody when I say that. We need people in the army who are physically fit and healthy. In order to have an effective army, that's what you need. You have to have guys that can march 20 miles in a day under adverse conditions and carrying all their gear on their back. That's what you have to have in an army. That's just the reality of the situation, but of course these days we're pretending all the time. That's what we do now, we pretend. Well, the reality is unpleasant, so we're going to pretend that reality is something other than what it is, something that we find more palatable. Well, that's all well and good until you end up in a situation where reality is biting you on the ass and you don't have the teeth to bite it back. That's what it boils down to, you know. You're not strong enough to put a stop to it. So, bottom line is, what we're dealing with right now, though, is warfare. They're poisoning our food, they're poisoning the air and the water. They've always done this to a degree, but they're doing it a lot more now. And it's because people started to wake up. People started to realize that we've been had all these years. And they know if enough of us wake up, it's going to go real bad for them. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of as many of us as they can, and because they see us as a threat. And at this point, we probably are. They're probably right to see us that way. But what's happening is the more things that they do to us to suppress us and to get rid of as many of us as they can, the more people are waking up. It's sort of like somebody dropping an alarm clock into a den of lions. And you're in the den of lions. I remember an old Bugs Bunny cartoon where this happened, where Yosemite Sam was sneaking across this den of lions. And Bugs Bunny dropped an alarm clock in there, Well, the thing is, it's like you're stepping over all the lions trying to get to the alarm clock to shut it down before it wakes up, before it wakes all the lions up. But in the process of stepping over the lions, you're waking them up. Well, that's the situation that the elites find themselves in. They're stepping over all of us to get to the thing that will wake us up, the thing that's a threat to them that will wake us up. But in the process of stepping over us, they're waking us up. So everything they're doing, they're actually working at cross purposes to themselves. And I'm sure they're in a blind panic right now. That's the reason they're building all these bunkers underground. All the elites are building bunkers. Why are they doing that? Well, because they plan to blow the damn place up. They plan to blow it up and start over. They've attempted mass murder in different ways, and it's been effective only to a degree. So now they're going to have to set off the nukes. That's the reason that they're angling for a war. They're going to go into their bunkers, and they think they're going to come out of their bunkers and start again. And, what they don't realize, though, is what they'll be coming out to is a burned out cinder. Because this is how crazy these people are. But when people are frightened and desperate, they'll be crazy. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of frightened and desperate elites. And they're in a blind panic. And they're doing everything they can to shut us down. So it is war. Make no mistake about it. We are at war. And these people, if they get their way, these are the people that control the bombs. If they get their way, they're going to go into their bunkers and they're just going to incinerate all of us. That's the plan. Now I believe that Jesus will intervene either before or after that happens. I believe that, and in the Bible even says that it's funny, the Bible says that these people, these powerful people, will beg the mountains to fall on top of them, to hide them from the wrath of God. And now we see they're building bunkers into mountains. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go inside of the mountains so that they can survive this calamity that they're going to cause. And that's what the Bible says. They will beg the mountains to fall down on top of them, to hide them from the wrath of God. Book written thousands of years ago. And it's basically outlined what's actually happening now with these bunkers being built into the mountains. It's got to make you think. It makes me think anyway. That's it. I'm into this now 24 minutes. It's time to stop. I've rambled a little bit. I don't script these things, I just speak what's on my heart at the time. And so that's why I do sometimes ramble a bit and drift from one thing to another. But I guess the bottom line, to sum it up, is we are in a state of warfare at the moment. Psychological warfare, chemical warfare, and physical warfare. Like we're being attacked on multiple fronts right now. And the reason is that the powerful people are frightened. And, they have some reason to be. It's really not unreasonable for them to be scared at this point. But I mean, the trouble is, frightened people do unreasonable things. And so, it's a pretty frightening prospect that we're living with right now. So all I can tell you is say your prayers. We all got to try to get right with God. I'm trying to. I'm struggling because I am kind of a sinful outfit, so I am struggling. But I know I need to do that because the results are going to be bad for me if I don't. These people that society has traditionally looked to solve all their problems, these people are the cause of the problems, So we can't go there. All we can do really is try to be good to each other as best we can, and also to look to God, especially to look to God. All right, I'll talk to you later.